The second is annual gifts. And the annual gifts that people send to the university, we put all of that in the student scholarship program. Our scholarship budget here is about $30 million. Our total budget is roughly $90 million. So a third of everything we get goes into the scholarship budget. So we can't turn to that source.
Okay.
And you take a building like State Farm Hall. You can put yourselves in a donor's shoes. If you go out to them and say, I'd like to ask you for a gift for the university for a building, perhaps to name a room in the building, or to provide a scholarship to student, or to provide for the health insurance increase of the faculty.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which one of those three do you think people are going to pick? They're going to pick one of the first two.
Yes.
And so they expect us to manage those kinds of increases. We've had a little bit of the same issue on utility costs going up. Right now it's moderated because utility costs are not increasing as they were at one time. So that for us, it's mostly health insurance and providing some kind of a modest salary increase for the faculty. And so this past year, or over the past 2 or 3 years, I think the percentages were 0% increase, 0% increase, 1.25%, and 1.25%. So it's not like we're extravagant, but it's just the costs that we can't avoid that have led to increasing tuition. Now, I will tell you, I'm doing everything I can to drive that rate down. 4 years ago, I think it was, our tuition rate was 5.5%. That was the increase. We went to 4.9 and 4.2, and this past year 3.5 or 3.6. And I want to continue to drive it down, but I have to drive it down at the same time that I'm hoping the endowment might grow and help offset a little bit of the lost revenue from tuition. So that's maybe more of an explanation than you wanted, but it...
Oh no, the more of an explanation the merrier.
Okay.
Just so we can clear things up, with people around campus.
Right.
And I also do think the financial aid office does do a good job if you seek them out for help of helping you with the payments and everything.
Well, I hope so. We're trying to be as active as we can, and I know Scott Sebring and the staff there work really hard to try to find some way to help students address their problems financially. And I know students on campus pay different amounts based on their parental income and ability to pay, but we're trying really hard to keep debt levels down so that students can take advantage of scholarship and grant opportunities.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That clears up a lot of things. That was a serious start to our interview, and now I just want to get on the lighter side.
All right.
University of Michigan, like I mentioned, you went to. I just want to know what are some of your best memories there? Some good college memories. Well, we're talking to college students here.
Yeah,
So.
I probably, to make it comparable, we didn't discuss this. As an undergraduate, I went to a liberal arts college similar to Wesleyan. My home state is West Virginia. I went to Alderson Broaddus College, also a Division III type institution. So I have a liberal arts roots, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a math major as an undergraduate, and some of my fond memories in the first instance tie to specific faculty members who really made a difference. There was one, an English faculty member when I first got to campus who was just terribly hard on me about my writing. And I, at the time, sort of labored under that, but I've realized how great a course that I had and great instructor that she was. Also had a math instructor that did some unusual things. We were in small classes, 8, 10, just like here. And I'd be in calculus, and I remember when I'd go to take an exam, he'd walk around the room, and he'd look down at your paper as you were working on solving problems. And if you had moved off in the wrong direction, he'd just go, he'd give you a tip that, and we all laughed about it at the time, But I think what happened was that he used the exams as a teaching experience. And it would force you to go back and think, oh, he didn't tell you how to solve it, but he'd tell you if you were really going in the wrong direction with your solution. And so I've often thought that sometimes when we teach, we need to think about what happens during the actual tests and how you can turn those into teaching experiences. Now on the flip side, I was active in athletics. I played baseball and soccer in college.
All right.
Back in the day when you could play, there were a lot of students playing more than one sport, and I was a center fielder and in baseball and actually played center half and on the soccer team. And well, as an aside, my first trip to Illinois was to come out here to play a tournament soccer game with the soccer team, and that was quite a special memory. I was also in a social fraternity, and we didn't have national fraternities, but the friendships that I formed there are just provide wonderful memories and some lasting connections with people from that. By the time I got to graduate school, it was more my profession, and it was you're not quite as involved in student activities. You're more focused on your studies, your dissertation, professional work, and not so much the activity. So I have fond memories of being at Michigan, and in many ways it opened up my career, but wasn't as involved there in activities as I was as an undergraduate.
Okay. Well, now you have D1 and D3 experience. What makes D3 greater than D1?
There you go. That's a great question. You know what? I said this when I first came. When I go to one of our athletic events, night before last, I was down at watching the soccer team play. And now I want to. Well, let me say this, and then I'll make a caveat. When I look out on the field, or on the basketball court, or on the baseball field, or whatever, I see people like me. These are students who came to the university because they had an interest in athletics, but they also wanted to get a solid academic preparation. That's what I did. Now, I will say, as I look out on these fields right now, there's a lot more talent out there than when I was going through. Soccer was in its infancy, and the skill levels were not as high as they are now. But nevertheless, after the game the other night, there was nobody holding hands with these student athletes. They were headed back to their dorms to pick up their books to study for the rest of the evening.
D3 lifestyle.
The D3 lifestyle, and a lot of taking care of yourself. And I think D3 has this figured out right. I think it's healthy. And we have some students who come to Illinois Wesleyan thinking they want to be in athletics, but after they're here, their interests move off in other directions, and they decide, no, I think I'd rather study abroad, or I'd rather get involved in working in a laboratory, and it conflicts, and they make choices. But on balance, I think the faculty and the university as a whole keeps athletics in proper perspective. So that's what I like.
I think especially here at Illinois Wesleyan, you see like crowds that show up to all the games.
Yes.
When we go on the road to some of these other schools, you don't see any crowds sometimes. No. So I think Wesleyan does an outstanding job at that compared to other schools in D3.
I agree. I think, let me say, I'm competitive by nature, and I know our athletic department and coaches are also competitive, and we want to put a team on the field every day that has a chance to win.
Absolutely.
Okay? At the same time, we recognize that there's another side to the student experience, and I think that's what draws our fans, because they know these are, frequently our athletes are out in the community, they interact with people, they know what kind of students they are, and they want to come watch them play. And I think it's a great thing.
Absolutely. Well, this is about the end of our interview. I just want to ask you some quick questions,
Sure.
Just some fun ones. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? Well, this has been a few years. I saw a movie called A River Runs Through It, and it's about fly fishing. And it's a fantastic movie, and I watch it occasionally just because it's something that I've done fly fishing on a couple of occasions, and I identify with it, and it sort of deals with it's a bit romantic in a way, but it's not romantic in the normal sense. It's romantic with that particular sport.
Okay.
And so I've always enjoyed watching that movie. There are others, but you asked for one, so you
Oh
get
no,
one.
I like that. An unexpected answer. I didn't even expect that, honestly.
Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you did.
What is your favorite?
I should tell you, I was watching a movie recently called Pt.2, and it's the story.
Oh, that's an excellent film.
Yeah, with about Jackie Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched it, and then I was able to get access to the trailers that went along, and the outtakes that were made, and the interviews with with Jackie Robinson's wife, and it was just a fascinating story. We grew up with that story,
Mm-hmm.
but they did a really nice job of presenting the time,
Yes.
as well as baseball,
I agree.
and I loved it.
I agree. So, is your favorite sport? Would you say baseball?
Playing baseball and soccer were my sports.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm a fan, and I enjoy watching almost any sport. And even here at Wesleyan, I try to make sure that whatever sports are in season, I have a chance to go and watch. I mean, I'm at swim meets, and I get into it. I go to the football games. I try to get to all the home games.
And now we have lacrosse here as
And
well.
we have lacrosse. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know much about it, but I'm going to learn. And so when it comes to watching sports, probably the only thing that I don't spend a lot of time watching is professional basketball.
Okay.
And the season goes on forever, and
It does.
sometimes I feel like professional basketball athletes are, for about 3/4 of the season, are going through the motion,
Yes.
and you got to get to the playoffs before it gets serious.
I couldn't agree more with that statement right there. Final question. What's your favorite song or band?
It's my favorite song or band.
If I went to a party and just wanted to jam.
Yeah, believe it or not, I keep an iTunes playlist, and there are several that are popular. In the spring, it was "Call Me Maybe," and
Okay.
but I've moved off that. There was I'm trying to remember the actual name of the song. It's shoot. I started to say it's Monsters. It's a theme song. I could look it up on my phone, but anyway, cut that part out. I can't remember the name of it.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Well, I just want to thank you very much for joining us today
Glad
and
to
just
do it.
answering some questions for the students, just getting to know you a little better.
Great.
And we hope this will air during homecoming, so
Great.
we'll try to play it around campus for people to see when there's people on campus.
Great.
And I just want to thank you all. Please tune in to Titan TV News on our YouTube page and on Titan TV here on campus. I'm Zach Ciccone, and thank you very much for watching.